Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War Crazy Cat Lady event in which the Hellclaw Rager is added to the game. This is also our first week since version 6.3 last Tuesday, so I did kind of just briefly want to go over a couple things that 6.3 ended up changing. One of the most noteworthy ones is it was a patch very heavily based on delves. Basically now every single time when we get a new weekend event that will be delve related, we'll end up not only getting a new troop, but we'll also get access to deep delves for the faction. Deep delves are basically an option where you can spend an extra 10,000 gold in one of your extra tries in order to get a 1x higher multiplier and a guaranteed gnome room, with this one being right over here. It'll just give you a random guaranteed gnome. The three that it can't do though is a pet gnome, a Cedric, and a better Cedric. However, it can be absolutely all the other standard gnomes that you would find in Explore, and this does indeed include things like Curse Gnome and the Deed Gnomes as well, or not the Deed, but the Verse Gnomes in order to get the 4 verses. So you can still get them, though they are still just as rare as they would normally be. And it's also a different layout. We'll also be getting a different layout and a new troop every single time these come out. Sometimes this layout will be better or potentially worse. In this particular one, this is better than the other All-Seeing Eye layout, however, not by much. It has one guaranteed treasure room, which oddly enough is normally right there, but it just replaced it. So now we don't have one, but it normally has one right over in the top corner over there and all that good stuff. But we'll start getting one of those every single time a new faction event rolls around. So for example, I believe the next one that we're going to be getting is either going to be Hall of Guardians or Crypt. I think the files currently say Crypt, however, Hall of Guardians came next if it's going in order, because this was the first faction that ever came out. Another thing that we got that was pretty nice is the potion effects outside of the game mode. These are probably the most useful thing in version 6.3, as this now allows you to do something that originally took a very exceedingly long time, as well as tens of thousands of gems. Now it only just takes an exceedingly long time. But basically, as you get your faction upgraded past level 100, you actually start getting benefits. Like I believe exactly at 100 you get the enchant potion, up to 130 you have everything up to armor, at 175 you get shielding, which is pretty solid, and at 200 and every 25 after you get some power potions. This makes it pretty viable to get every single faction to around either like 130, 175 to end up utilizing all those potions. So now if we were to go do a faction like this, we'd have enchant, we'd have explosion to start a battle, rejuvenation, armored, blessed, and shielding, which essentially would allow us to do level 500 pure faction at any time we wanted to, as this substantially makes it way easier at any point to basically do a pure faction whenever you want, rather than having to wait for the event, throw down like 2,000-3,000 gems, get it done on like a weird Tuesday, or do it during like the weekend thing. You don't need to do that anymore. You still can, of course, and it's going to be easier if you do it that way. However, you don't have to do it that way anymore. It is very accessible to do it now outside of the event anytime you want, simply by just using your daily sigils to end up doing it. You can also buy an additional 3 per day. I'm just going to scrap this one real quick. So if we go into this battle real quick and retreat, we can actually buy more of these per day. It ends up increasing by, as you can see, all the potion effects trigger right there as well. As you can see, we have enchant, all that barrier. But we're going to retreat here just so we can go and leave. But if we go check over here, you actually can buy more attempts now, which is a nice feature. I would not advise doing this more than once per day. However, if you're looking to get every faction done, it is pretty good value if you do this once per day compared to how much you would have spent to upgrade all the factions otherwise. Because this only costs you 50 gems per day, which might sound like a lot over time, but compared to spending like 2,000 to 3,000 gems per pure faction, this is way cheaper. It'll take longer, but it is way substantially cheaper than what it would have been as far as getting a faction done. So now instead of having 3 battles today, you can have 6. And if you really wanted more, you could spend 100 to get another 3, and then another 150 to go get another 3, and so on and so forth. It goes up by 50 per day every single time you click it per day, it goes up by 50. So it goes 50, 100, 150, 200, so on and so forth. But if you just click it once per day, you get it for 50 each time. So that would allow you to get a whole extra 3 for only 50, which is pretty good, decent. And potentially worth considering if you're looking to double the speed at which you get delves done, or you can simply just do it as you normally would, 3 at a time per day. So overall, pretty nice. Deep delves pretty useless for anything other than the achievement though. One other thing that was pretty nice, which I actually have a whole video on, which I already recorded, though it's probably not up. It'll be up probably soon after this video, so check that out later today. But as far as that, there's auto battling now in delves, or in explore and challenges specifically. It is not in any other location. Actually, here's one of the teams. Might as well go show this one. Why not? We already have it set. So if we go into this battle right here with one of the teams that we're showing in the video, Nice Tesla team. One of the cheaper ones you could do with it as well. If we just go click the auto play button over here, it'll simply play for us. Unfortunately, it will be at 1.5 times speed, but it will indeed play for us. Oh, please cast Holy State Astra first. No! This build ideally wants to do Holy State Astra into double Tesla. Otherwise, it doesn't have enough damage to kill. Though, in all fairness, I don't think I have set armor, so doing it that way might not actually be that big a deal. But yeah, the AI is playing for me. I'm doing literally nothing right now. I am watching the same thing that you guys are watching, just commentating what on earth the AI is doing right now. But yeah, it's going to go for a Thral. We'll cast our double Tesla, and that'll be enough to win. And we didn't need to do anything other than set the auto battle button. And yeah, this is a new feature. It's pretty much only realistic to use on Explore 12, while you can use it currently for Explore and challenges. Lower level Explore, you could already win so quickly, but by the time you set it on, there's no point, because you pretty much could have already won manually. And doing it in challenges, well, you eventually run out of challenges, so you can't just keep doing it that way. As you can see, Tesla just won for us in like about a minute or so. This is among one of the quicker teams. I mentioned that in the video. This one and Zugoff build, I would say, are probably the two quickest. And that video will be up a little bit later today if you want to copy paste any of those auto playing teams. If you want to like watch YouTube or TV or some multitask while you're playing Gems of War, you can now farm Explore 12 while doing other things now pretty effectively. You already could, obviously, but now it's even easier than ever to do so. But anyways, that's that team. We'll be having a whole video on that in a little bit. And aside from that, I just did a couple other knick-knack stuff like improving some of the visuals for some of the conversations in the game, improving some of the cosmetics for like some of the weapon stuff. And of course we got the 2 new achievements, and that's pretty much it. It's a rather tame patch, mostly for the underworld and auto battle, with the most useful thing being the potions. Anyways, on to stuff that happened this week. So let's go and start with the new troop. So if we go under events and click on this troop over here, we can end up seeing the troop. And that is this one over here, the Hellclaw Rager. It comes in with a lot of red green, so if you need to stock up, you can get them for only 200 glory each. This troop's actually not bad. I personally don't feel like I'll be using it much, but it's a super anti-elemental option. And elemental's, of course, very strong in the current state of game. It deals damage to an enemy, and if they're elemental, it'll deal triple damage. And if they die, it enrages itself. It also gains enrage when it gets a kill. And wait. I see a redundancy here. You know what? I think they did this deliberately just to troll everyone, because they actually have double Firestorm on Sunspear, and then there was like a big controversy when they changed the wrong thing and all that, like a couple years back. But does anyone remember that when Sunspear always had double Firestorm, or double Fireproof, I believe it was actually. Never mind, it always had double Fireproof and double Firestorm, but particularly double Fireproof. And they changed the wrong one. They like changed the final trait instead of changing the Fireproof, and that was a whole fiasco. But I wonder if they did that just to troll us, because this thing has double Enrage, because of course it's from the same kingdom, and it gets Enrage when it gets a kill, but it also gets Enrage when it gets a kill. That's funny, I didn't notice that till just now. But anyways, it's a super anti-elemental option. Triple damage on ability, double damage on skull, and it has some dodge so it can actually function in first slot, and has double enrage, quite literally. Where it triggers at the exact same time instead of different instances of enrage. But yeah, it's not bad. It's actually a pretty decent elemental counter. Obviously, probably almost never going to be used unless you're up against a 4x elemental team. And even in that situation, you might not necessarily bring it out compared to other options that might be able to deny their mana generators better or something else. However, nonetheless, still an okay troop, especially with how good elementals are right now. Always good to see another thing that can kind of try to counter them. Though a little bit of a low rarity option to do so with, though it could still effectively do so for you. As far as the event key drop table is concerned, it of course is associated to that of the Pride Lands. As far as Pride Lands is concerned, it's a okay drop table. Actually, I don't have it up right now. Let's go bring it up. If we go over to Pride Lands and then click on, let's do it by base rarity, we can end up seeing everything that is in the drop table. Let me just double check. Everything that is not in the drop table includes, of course, the 4 Ajrogene's Palace thing, or however you say that. It's such a weird word to say. Ajrogene's Palace, whatever that is. Those 4 are not in the drop table. Everything else, however, does appear to be in the drop table. Just trying to see if there's any exception, but nope, it is everything else. Okay, so as far as the drop table is concerned, yeah, there's nothing too good to go for. It's mostly if you're picking up the mythics, I would say. You do have like a double converter, though. I feel like Sakima has very few synergies in the current state of the game. It's not a bad troop. It even has a decent, interesting boost ratio. However, it just doesn't tend to get used due to the color combination that it does. Well, the color combination that it uses just doesn't have too many synergies currently within the game. That's not to say it wouldn't eventually get one. It just doesn't have too many uses. Ubistet, I would say, is probably your main pickup if you're looking for a mythic. Obviously, you don't get to choose. However, Ubistet, most notorious for double kill to double kill. Kind of works how Scorpius does, except you do it in a bit of a different build where you normally do it with Rope Dart. Also, Rope Dart is in the drop table this week. It is a Pride Lands week. Do not leave this week without Rope Dart. We'll get to that in the Soulforge portion. But long story short, do not forget to get Rope Dart. But anyways, it is a good idea to consider maybe getting Upestet. It's a very situational troop, but it allows you to double kill. You normally set it up with Rope Dart. You can set it up with anything that could do a lot of damage to a single target. And basically when he gets 1 kill, he gets 2 kills. So you just bring one really low, that allows him to double kill. You get one really low again, it allows him to double kill, and that's how you win. And you just have 2 mana accumulators to do it, like Thrall Leprechaun or something similar. Overall, not used too much in the current state of game, though still a pretty decent option that got nerfed so heavily in the past. You used to have 4-to-1 ratio and something else, but it got nerfed pretty hard, but still very usable. Omnif's not horrible, but compared to Zugoff, you're basically never going to touch this thing. It's basically just weaker Zugoff, and with how much more accessible Zugoff is in the current state of game, we don't really necessarily need a Zugoff alternative, which makes her pretty bad in the current state, since Zugoff is so much easier to get these days compared to in the past. Aside from that, as far as guild-related events, we do have a pretty standard reward event where you just do it based on rarity order. Ends up going based on 31 battles, so basically you'll eventually just keep getting the same battles over and over and over again at the end, so you just keep doing the same room, but it's just rarity order. It's rarity order until you have all of the lowest rarity one. And then you just keep doing the same room over and over and over again, because once you hit 31 plus battles and you clear out all the rarities to the lowest rarity, they'll never replace any further than that. It goes a set of 15, and then just keeps doing the repeat at the end, which is a kind of standard format that it does pretty often. But yep, just rarity order and you'll be good to go. As far as the options to use, we do finally have a Spell Skull. I was actually mentioning this the other week. We haven't gotten the Skull option for a while. Well, we have Spell Skull this time, so that's pretty cool. Luckily, it's not Skull only, or that would have been a little bit more annoying. But it is a Rashka only restriction, which is pretty much like the restriction for the Thursday class event, except Thursday is also Rashka plus Pride Lands, though most Rashkas exist in Pride Lands, so very similar teams that you can end up using for this event. You can end up also using for the Thursday class event if you want to like double up, depending on how you do it. But overall, not too bad. We have some decent options to end up using. Rashka Free Blood is probably the most noteworthy thing, regardless of what point you are within the game, as he is both a damage source and a mana accumulator, and you're literally, your whole team could be him and you'd probably win if you ran 4 Rashka Free Bloods. I would not advise doing that necessarily. However, he's a really low rarity option that would pretty much win you the entire event if you so choose to do so. Though I would advise that making half your team something that isn't him, so you have a little bit more variety for coloration. As far as other things that we have going on this week, we have this Tuesday, we have Drachi's Palace, or however I don't know if you pronounce that. Wednesday, we have the Rashka Pet. This one is somewhat more recent. Also, if you have the faction as max as it possibly can, you do actually need a 3rd level 20 pet for that, and that could be your 3rd. So you have good to go get a little bit more copies of him. Overall, you're generally not using too many Rashkas in your team on a given time. However, this week has multiple events where you can, particularly the Ward event and the Thursday event. So if nothing else, he'll be able to help you with some stats this week. Sunspear is this Thursday. I personally don't feel like I use it much in the current state of game. However, it is definitely a pretty good hero class. Has Perpetual Firestorm, which is its most noteworthy thing. It also has both Freeze and Entangle at start of battle. Main thing keeping it down is it does not have a natural half mana start, which is probably the main thing keeping it from being super ultra viable, though it is still really good as a hero class, especially if you need a red Perpetual Storm, as is the only way to do so infinitely. And aside from that, Friday we have Bounty Hunter. So Bounty Hunter, pretty standard. We're getting another troop, all that. With I believe it's for Silverglade. Troop's actually not that bad. It creates a bunch of green, which also feeds back into itself. Unfortunately, it doesn't really have much synergy other than to feed into Ogres. And going into future Bounty Hunter weeks, you're likely not to use it because you just build around Tagraki. However, it won't be that bad in the context of this weekend, and we'll probably make doing this weekend one a little bit quicker compared to normal because it's not a completely useless troop like some Bounty troops are. So we have that going on this weekend. Aside from that, Soulforge. Before I even get into troops and everything, there is one thing I have to mention, which I already mentioned earlier, though it is worth mentioning like a billion times over, as it is by far like the most relevant thing happening all week. Get Rope Dart. It is such an important weapon to have. It is arguably the absolute strongest weapon in the entire game. It is definitely top 5. It is so absurdly strong. So what this weapon does is it eliminates all armor from an enemy. So, you know, kind of standard like Mang or Earth's Fury or like any of those that do it. So that's not anything too special. And then deal some damage to it. So that's pretty standard. However, it's everything else that it does that's insane. Next, it pulls the enemy to first slot. So this makes it the most viable anything in the entire game that has a ability to reposition the enemy. There are very few options that do this in Gems of War. However, this is by far the absolute absolute strongest one that does, as it'll drag whatever you want to first slot, while also tearing all their armor, while also doing a damage poke, meaning they're pretty much only one poke away from dying. However, that's not all it does. It also entangles the first enemy, and it also does so in an order where they're going to move to first and then get entangled. It's not going to entangle and then move them to first. So that means whatever troop you're specifically moving to first is going to get the entangle on it, meaning that you just disabled all, or assuming they don't have immune, which you get to choose, so you're likely targeting something that doesn't have immune, which means you will end up having it so you won't take any skull damage on your follow-up. Aside from that, that's not even everything that it does. It also has a extra turn. So it has auto extra turn. It's one of only a few weapons that does. And on top of that, it even has 3 red destroy, which 3 red destroy doesn't seem like much, but you have auto extra turn to go with it. So normally a 3 red destroy would be, you know, kind of average or bad, but a 3 red destroy while also having auto extra turn, that could completely set you up into another 4 times, another 5 times, even just cascading you a 3 match. It could do a lot of things. Plus it gives you 3 red mana because it's destroy, not remove. So you do actually get the 3 red mana that you end up destroying, assuming there are 3 on the board. So in total, it ends up eliminating all armor from an enemy, damage poking them, moving to first, so they're likely going to be in one-shot kill range, entangles them so they can't do anything with their skull, auto extra turn so you can loop it into anything, as well as, you know, just keep spamming. And I missed one. Oh, and it destroys 3 red that could potentially cascade you even more mana, and at minimum it's going to give you, you know, 3 red. But yeah, it does all that. It does a lot of things. It is really, really, really good, and do not leave this week without it. Highly, highly advised. Anyways, as far as other things in Soulforge, not much, at least comparatively to Rope Dart. Just get Rope Dart. Actually didn't look at the troops earlier. So there isn't much here. What imps is one of the seasonal imps. It's not really too relevant though. I don't know, Quetzalcoatl's probably the strongest thing here if you're looking to try to craft something. It's not a must-have. It's like a yellow loop kind of thing with its thing. It ends up creating a bunch of yellow, removing whatever you want. It's kind of average. It's not bad, not like overly good. A little bit luck-based. Has like that Inferno King kind of concept to it, but at 5% lower. I feel like I've never seen a Quetzalcoatl like multiple revive on me, unlike Inferno King, which has had like 10 revives before. But it technically can. It gets full mana when it does. It's a really luck-based character that tends to not get used that often. However, it's not a horrible mythic. And as far as weapons, get Rope Dart. That's not even a question. Just get Rope Dart. Anyways. So let's go over a bunch of teams, all of which will be in the description below if you want to go and copy and paste any of them. Oh, also one other thing that's going on today, which we'll probably be covering a video for and going over on stream tonight as well. The new Mythic is available today. Technically, it was also available last Monday when we ended up getting it. However, Smarkinator, if you bought the normal pass, is available today. This is that one bomb thing. You remember Bomb Mechanic? It's a mechanic that's still in the game that does nothing. Well, he does that and more of it. He does multiple nothing. He steals some... He's basically... He's kind of like if Gloomleaf got combined with Gorgotha, but was made worse than both of them combined. That's literally what he is. He has the Armor Steel of Gloomleaf and Explode of... something. It's really bad. It's one random explode with 10 bombs, and even if you explode the bomb, and this is not necessarily going to explode all the bombs, and there's a chance you explode none of the bombs, giving the enemy a 10 bomb explode. So that's nice. And it also gains a little bit of armor each turn, has a little bit of reduction. It's basically the same typing as like Stonehammer and all the other useless like high reduction tanky mythics. They just don't function well. Similarly, he is kind of pointless, unfortunately. But he can still be kind of used in some mech teams. Wouldn't really advise it, though. He is technically kind of usable. And in theory, he is the best way to apply bombs to the board. I'm not sure if on Earth that's ever going to be viable. Maybe they'll buff bombs, who knows. But in the current state of the game, that doesn't do much. Doesn't do much at all. Anyways, let's go over the teams now. So you probably already saw this one earlier. It's Rope Dart to Ubistet. We were kind of explaining this team earlier when we were mentioning both Ubistet and Rope Dart. However, you Rope Dart something, you then Ubistet them, you double kill, you do it again. Good to go. Rashka's is here for the mana accumulation. As far as the lower version, it does double Rashka free blood as well, except it does it with Essence of Evil and Tagraki. Of course, that bounty hunter troop that every single bounty hunter team in all of existence ever gets used in. Keep in mind, this is not a bounty hunter team. It just happens to use the Tagraki in it. As far as the next one here, this is for red-purple restriction for the palace. Of course, you're allowed to use any colored weapon. This one, I figured I'd show some different ones for once. This is just double gargoyle. They can end up running for the lower end. Just something a little bit different rather than showing the same ones all the time, because I'm probably using a guard's avatar build, but I feel like we show that every single week recently. And here we have a Rope Dart Ubistet version that's set up for a high level delving. I think I even mentioned this one earlier, where you can use Thrall Leprechaun with Ubistet in order to double kill. Rope Dart sets them up, you double kill, or you cast Leprechaun, you cast Thrall, you Rope Dart them, you then get your double kill, and then you just win. And we might even go show that team real quick just to kind of show in the battle because it kind of uses like all the main mechanics I was just kind of talking about during this video. Aside from that, as far as pure faction, a couple different ways you can run it, like double Hellclaw Warrior into double Indrajit. But basically, this is just a Hellclaw Indrajit team. Hellclaw, you just spam whenever he needs to not die. You basically use it as a not die button. You do not really want to be using his ability until he's about to die unless you just want to stack him really high. However, you're normally just keeping him just barely alive, and then you just keep spamming Indrajit until you win. He does a bunch of damage randomly to a bunch of enemies, and you just keep doing that until you've pressured enough damage to win out the whole battle. And if you take a couple extra turns, they'll all be cursed and burning. Aside from that, as far as Thursday class event, you can run pretty much anything you would run for, or not literally everything, but most of the things that you can run for the Ward event, you can also run for the class event. The only extra restriction from the class event is it specifically has to be from Pride Lands. However, most Rashkas already reside in Pride Lands, so that only makes a few of them not usable. And your selection is pretty much almost the same, though not exactly. It is a slightly smaller selection. But pretty much anything you rent, most of the things you rent for the Ward event, you can run also for the Thursday class event. And it's just a different variant set up more so as a, you know, kind of standard just auto win Dawnbringer kind of build kind of thing. And of course you could also just build entirely around Rashka, as he is arguably the strongest thing in the entire kingdom, so ends up working out pretty well. Anyways, I was going to say I was going to go with that one troop. Let me go find a real team. How confident are we that I could take out Divinish Ball of Quillen? It's a Rope Dart versus Rope Dart. We might as well. Just to be able to show a Rope Dart. The problem is, a Rope Dart mirror isn't ideal. Oh, well, we'll just do it. If we lose, we lose. What will happen? It'll be fine. Anyways, we might lose, though. I'm trying to find a team I literally just said I wanted to go use. And I can't find it. There it is. Okay. So let's just run with this. Of course, this one that I'm using right now is meant for deep level delves, not for PvP. However, we can use it for such. We are frozen on the one thing. That's going to be a little bit annoying. We don't have any way to cleanse either. Let's see. Does he get his mana? Yeah, he's going to go Divinish Ball of Quillen crazy. This is why I didn't want to use this one, because I didn't want to get entangled, because he gets disabled a lot once we start getting entangled. Yeah, I had a feeling that would happen with this team. Round 2. Let's not have that happen. Okay, here's a Skull Spam build. Now, here's a good one to show it against. So, of course, we have Entangle to go work with against this thing. Of course, the main gimmick with Web Spinner, and this team in general, is that it has triple damage while also creating skulls every single turn. So its main gimmick is that it's trying to completely obliterate us with the the skulls that it gets per turn. I actually want to aim for the thing that has the lowest HP on their team right now. Though I also just want this to die, so you know I'm just going to go for that. We then go for double Ubstead here, double kill, boom. And now we just do that again, and then we win. That's basically the premise of this build. You get your mana, you Rope Dart, you throw down Ubstead, you win. And you just rinse and repeat that until you've done it twice, and then you win. As you can see, that's super quick. And that's how it's supposed to function. And it works a lot more consistently in Delves because you don't have ultra annoying teams in Delves for the most part, like you do in PvP, where they kind of just win instantly sometimes when they have like Empower and other things. You don't need to worry about that in Delves, so it normally does what just happened in that battle, where you just cast, you cast a combo, you double kill, you cast the combo again, you double kill, and then you get a very quick win. And you just do that for the entirety of Delves at the higher level ranges. And that's how you use Rope Dart Ubstead. Anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for now. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. All the teams mentioned in this video will also be in the description below if you want to go and copy any of them. And as per usual, we always stream here on the channel every single night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we'll mostly be going over all the Chapter 10 tasks, as well as messing with the new Mythic. And we'll go from there, the Bomb Gem Mythic. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys soon. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.